Alrighty, welcome back everyone to the Away Day show. We're finally all three of us joined here together at once. I'm excited to be here, boys. How are you doing?
Back again.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure to be here again. Back. Good to have us three all on at the same time.
All at the same time for once, yeah. It's
Finally,
awesome.
the season's done. It's coming around the corner, obviously, again soon. Fixtures released. But obviously, being Australian, the AFL is
just taking
not
over.
pretty strong. The Ashes start tonight.
Yeah.
US Open's on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on at the
Golf
moment. There's a lot
fans
going on
at the
at the
moment,
moment.
But yeah, it swings around again, like international games last time as well. It never really stops football. But
Yeah, obviously, the internationals.
like, you can't take a break.
Yeah.
Messi scored
80 seconds.
every minute, something like that now he scored in. So yeah.
Oh, is that all he needs?
I think so, yeah, every minute now. But I think we've got a bit of rundown to go, we'd say, but I think we're going to start with a local guy. So Ange Postecoglou, Australian manager, moving to Tottenham, obviously a bit of a shambles of the end of the season. Yeah. You called it. You nailed it in the head. I was very confident.
About
but
their fall from yeah, you were very bullish.
I was very on him, but
yeah, after I saw the video there, I was very skeptical on your
I think you lost all
predictions.
your credit. I think you lost all the credit as a YouTuber.
Yeah, exactly.
As I say, it's time to go. It's all done. But yeah, Ange joining Tottenham. A bit of you and me got a bit of information about them. So came from Celtic. He's been at Yokohama as well, and obviously the Australian national team. Back-to-back titles at Celtic. Exciting.
Won the treble there, didn't he?
I think yeah. Well, he definitely got the Scottish Cup as well. Yeah. I'm not sure how the treble works over there, but but back-to-back premierships after obviously Gerrard took over with Rangers and sort of made Rangers the biggest club over there. A great stint for Australia, getting an Asian Cup and 2 World Cups quite easily, I think, 2014, 2018, and obviously won a title in Yokohama with the J League there. And they're playing a more attacking style of football. So like watching Tottenham recently, it just seems like with Conte and with Mourinho, it's been all sort of 5 back, boring. So not the Tottenham way, which has come from Pochettino. He was all about attacking wide wingers, and Ange has got that. I looked at some of the ways he's lined up. So 4-3-3, and he does the whole inverted full back, 3 at the back with possession of the ball. So it's all that modern style of football. I guess from you guys' point of view, how do you reckon it's going to go next year with Ange?
You go first.
Yeah, well, I think Ange is the right person for Tottenham in the terms of I've seen that they've given him a 4-year deal, which really means so a 4-year deal, which means they're prepared Tottenham to have a year where they're going to maybe go a little bit backwards to go forwards. Yeah. The 4-year deal is a deal that's extremely long. Well, if you look at the likes of Mourinho and Conte at Tottenham, they were only offered 2 years. Yeah. So the reason why Ange getting the 2-year deal was. the 4-year deal, was to give him a bit more time, because I think we've had this quick solution such as the Conte and the Mourinho who have come in to get success, to bring titles, end the trophy drought. Yeah. But now I think it's like Ange has come in, we're going to give him time. There's a lot of areas in their team that need to be fixed. I think the biggest one personally is their midfield. I think they've got a midfield that's borderline relegation.
Really?
Midfield, yeah.
Really? Relegation midfield?
I've got a few names that they've been looking at, transfer targets.
Yeah, definitely.
Transfer targets that they've actually been linked to. So they've been linked heavily with Gallagher from Chelsea.
Yeah, it's a big move. They can get him. But I just don't think...
I think the biggest thing... So Ange plays like a big single pivot is what he played at Celtic.
Yeah.
And he also played a bit of a forward pressing strike. So I think they got to touch on a few areas. The biggest thing is I don't think Kane... I think Kane is a massive talking point with Ange coming in because
he'll stay.
Well, it looks like he's going to stay because I don't think there's anyone who can get him. Madrid have just signed Bellingham for 100 mil plus. I know Benzema's out the door, so I think if Kane's leaving, then he's going to Madrid. I don't think anyone else is going to get him.
No one's going to pay that much.
United aren't getting him.
Yeah.
No one else in the Prem's getting him. Obviously, City aren't in there anymore with Haaland. Kane does not suit that striker role at all. He's not a pressing, selfless player. He's constantly been in the middle of all Tottenham's success.
Yeah.
And Ange, the way he plays, doesn't suit Kane or Kane suit that system at all. I think really the best option for the club is to sell Kane.
Yeah.
They can get, still get a decent coin for him, even though he's only got a year left in his contract. Otherwise, they're going to have to re-sign him on big money. And I just think that what all that is going to provide is a bit of short-term stability. Yeah. And, he'll be the centre target again. But I think the best option for the long term for Spurs is that, sell Kane, get the money you can get for him. Yeah. Hopefully reinvest it better than they did with Bale, because obviously the Bale money was really poor. They didn't get anything from that. Yeah. But I think, as you said, they have a lot of holes in their team. Their centre back region. Obviously, they've got a World Cup winner there in Romero, but he's been really shaky at the end of the season. Unfortunately, all their fullbacks are wing backs.
Yes,
literally all of them.
It's not a 4-3.
Like Pedro Porro was actually coming good at the end of the season, but he's a wing back. I think they might try and play him in the wing role. Emerson Royale actually was okay towards the end, but Perisic, borderline left wing.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of holes to fill in their team. As we said, single pivot is really important. I don't think Gallagher can fill that role.
Well, talking about the single pivot, do you not think they should be looking at then the likes of like Onana from Everton to someone they don't have a single pivot? They've got Højbjerg there, but Højbjerg is a Southampton player. And that's all he is. Maybe not a Southampton relegated player, but he's a Southampton player, and that's where he came from. And that's all he is.
Can play a role.
I think
but a role what? To go play Conference League? That's about it.
Tom's you said it's a long-term project, right?
Yeah, but
it is. At this point, it is.
Right now, like I wrote a bit down. I reckon you need to go goalkeeper, centre back, and a striker, and then maybe an 8 that can.
I wouldn't
push up.
touch that front three.
I would.
Well, who goes?
Even if Kane leaves,
Dejuma's leaving.
Dejan Kulusevski has an option to buy back. Ange has not touched that for the first 10 days he's been there. I think that's a ready-made option.
As if Kulusevski isn't a long-term, isn't signed. I was certain he was.
He likes wingers that are high and wide, right? That is a perfect option. So I reckon that fixes it almost perfectly. I think Solomon from Fulham is also linked, who had a good sort of middle to the year period.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't work out, then they've got no one, realistically.
well, you go.
Just touching on Fulham, I think Palhinha would be a great
that's
option for
right.
a single bit. He's not as much of a ball-playing player, but at least what he would do is, he'd be a staple in that team, in their spine, like first name on the team sheet borderline. And what it would allow them to do is, they have some of these more progressive midfielders in that team.
Yeah.
Should hopefully allow them to play a bit more attacking.
You'd hope so, yeah.
And I think, as you said with their front three, I think, Son's obviously had a poor year, but I think he'll come good. His expected goals and assists was much higher than he ended up producing, which is a bit unfortunate sometimes. And they got Richarlison there. I honestly think for the club, the best move is try and get Kane out the door
and make him.
You'll still get. I think they'll get less than people think. I think they might get 60 to 80 mil because he's only got a year left.
That's realistic, yeah.
He's he's actually getting a bit old. I think play Richarlison in that role. He can press more and just let Ange take this club to the bottom. Let them bottom out under Ange.
And then go.
And let him try and implement what he's done at Celtic and what he's done in Japan and Australia. He's, as you said, they tried that ready-made, quick, fast trophy approach with Conte and Mourinho, and it just went complete pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Like, they were playing terrible football and they weren't getting results, which is the complete opposite of what they got these guys into.
I think right now, and like you hear on like all these fan channels stuff, like Tottenham just want to see exciting football. They've been starved of it for so long.
If
so
you're not going to win trophies.
At least play exciting. So that's what Poch had. Poch had that exciting football. They took him to a final. And I think Ange is, he's going to have the whole stigma like the Ted Lasso, the Australian, like just coming in, but he's got a game plan that's going to like soak the fans. It's 4-3, it's attacking, it's inverted fullbacks, it's the modern style of football. But I think because they say the 5-3-2 and the 3-5-3, 3-4-3, they're going to take some time to adjust. Like you said, they're going to need. Obviously Lloris is out, so I think David Raya is a very made option.
They need a ball playing keeper,
and then a centre back who can actually with his feet.
They need literally two new fullbacks because Emerson can play a role, but it's, as you said, like Levy backed Conte so much. They built the whole squad around him. They got in all these players who were like, coming to the end of the career. Like Perisic is the prime example of a Conte player to try and win a trophy here and now. They went completely pear-shaped. They have so much work to do at this point to fix this squad and get it back to where it should be. I mean, but as you said, I think the most important thing with Spurs is to give Ange time, and they need some investment. If that means selling Kane to fund the 100 mil or whatever, because obviously they had the stadium, they had big investment over the last few years. If that means selling Kane, I think for the overall progression of the club, that is the best option. I think a lot of Spurs fans don't want to hear that.
It's probably
because he's been involved in probably 50% of their goals over the last couple of years. He's putting up crazy numbers. Like, despite being in a team which is so poor, scored I think 28 goals or something nuts last year.
Still one of his better seasons last year. Rubbish time.
Only beaten by like one of the best strikers the Premier League has literally ever seen. A goal scoring machine in Haaland. He's a generational player. He'll go down despite his lack of trophies as one of England's greatest players, and he will be Spurs' greatest player ever.
All time.
I think I think it's a win-win for both the player and the club.
Yep.
And the club that gets him, for Kane to leave and just try and allow Spurs a fresh start almost. Because, Kane sort of represents the past regime so much.
Yeah.
I think what it allows is a proper fresh start with a new coach, relatively young in the terms of global success, etc. Even though he's getting towards 60, like Ange is, looks young, looks rejuvenated, looks confident.
Yeah.
It's important coming into a big club. You need to back yourself.
Yeah.
And so, look, I'm despite being an Arsenal fan, I'm very excited to see how Ange goes. Back in the Aussies always.
Yeah, 100%,
despite the NDL.
NLD. Well, I've got a bit on Ange. So, firstly, he's the first Premier League Australian manager, which is a pretty big achievement. And a lot of people don't know that he started coaching back in 97.
He's had time.
So, he was back coaching in the NSL. Which, for those that don't know, is the National Soccer League before the A-League. So it was the league Australia had before the A-League was introduced in the early 2000s. And from there, he actually, when he did the junior ranks at Australia in the early 2000s and moved on to
18s and 20s?
18s and 20s. Yeah. It might, or 17s and 20s, well, one of the two. And then he moved over to Greece in the early 2000s after that, got the sack, and he was basically bottomed out, nearly done with his managerial career, and one of the NPL clubs in Melbourne gave him an opportunity, and from there, he's just risen to the occasion. He then went to Brisbane Roar, Melbourne Victory, went to Australia. Bit of a weird one. I remember saying back when he did get the sack from Australia, that I was really surprised about that.
I think it was more of a mutual. I think he wanted a bit out.
Yeah,
he'd for a while.
He'd done his time. Yeah, definitely.
Well, he won
2 World Cups.
Two World
Cups, and he won the Asian Cup.
Yeah.
So only Australian manager to win the Asian Cup as well. I think as well, but I was saying this when I was talking to a couple other boys, for Australia as a team, I don't know if he's the right manager, because you're always going into a competition with a team that's a lot worse than your competition. So you've got to play that like... You can't play expansive football. No. And as we know, Ange is really known for playing that expansive football. You're talking about the one pivot, the inverted fullbacks. That you can't play that with Australia. No. You looked at Australia at the World Cup. They had a really good World Cup. What did they do? Both wingers were playing left and right back at one stage. Like, why was he playing Goodwin when he could have been playing Hrustic? Why? Because Goodwin was better when we didn't have the ball.
Defensively.
Goodwin isn't a better player than Hrustic if we look at it.
Understand,
But
so it wasn't
plays
right.
The role better.
It wasn't right.
It's like Mitch Duke as well. Mitch Duke just runs all day. We have a lot better. Australia has a lot better strikers than Mitch Duke.
Yeah, and I think your point's valid. Like, and I think that's where it sort of came from, where he thought he was time to go on and expand his career. And since he's been the J, he's had some great relationships with Japanese players. So it's interesting to see who he
brought in all the
exactly. It's interesting to see, does some of them join him at Tottenham? If they're going to bottom out a bit, does he bring players along for the journey and try and mould a team that he likes?
I think that'll really suit Spurs in the sense that it doesn't look like they have a massive transfer budget. And Ange has obviously played in a lot of these sort of lesser league countries whose players are a lot cheaper. So as a result, I mean, whether these guys are cut out for the Prem, the top end of the Prem, that's yet to be seen. But I mean, if he's not going to have the budget, it's definitely worth having a punt on some of these players who are cheaper. We can see the Japanese produce some great players. So we've obviously seen Matoma, sort of come out from nowhere. These players don't necessarily have a name when they come to the league, but they have a lot of skill. They often have great work ethics. I find these Asian country players seem to produce really hardworking players, and typically very skillful as well. So I think it'd be great for the expansion of the game. And for Spurs in general, coming the less approach of big names and more approach of that just good style play. Might concede a bit more here and there, but if they're scoring more open play goals, which they really struggle with, that should be the base groundwork of the, start playing some nice footy, and hopefully that comes with results and Ange can get given a bit of time, because I think time is really key. They might have some bad few months here and there while he tries to morph the squad into what he wants, but hopefully he gets given time to see what he can implement.
I guess for you, Antonio, like, if there's only 2 signings to make, if you're Ange today, you got 2 signings to make, who are you going with? And I guess the follow-up to that is, do you keep Harry Kane That's the sort of the three options you've got here.
No, I'm not keeping Harry Kane because as we've already discussed, I think
if you can sell him,
if I could sell him, obviously,
in
an ideal world,
like what was the minimum you selling for? One year left in his contract.
70.
70?
I wouldn't sell him for less than 70. I'd keep him if he's going to start hitting the 50, 60 range.
I think that's what Tottenham's sort of low ball is. I think 70 is the lowest they're going to go at the moment, sounds like.
Yeah, going back to it, I would actually agree with you and go and sign some of those Japanese players. We look at Celtic, they had 4 in their starting lineup.
Yeah.
Another player that was quite pivotal in Ange's success at Celtic was Jota, the Portuguese young talent.
Very good player.
Very good. But as we've said, I don't know if their biggest problem, Tottenham, at the moment, we've already said, if they can go sign Kulusevski, if they've got Son, they've got Richarlison.
How much is Kulusevski going to be?
So you think don't sign Kulusevski, sign a Jota?
I think it depends on like where we think they need strengthening. And I think if Kane goes, I got Richarlison there, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
I think for them, if they're going to play the system, they need to be able to work from the back upwards. You know, like a good keeper,
David Raya,
which is not going to be cheap nowadays. Like David Raya is probably going to cost 30 mil.
I think 30, 40 million.
20 to 30, 35, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's key.
Yeah.
Because you can't have Fraser Forster being the number one keeper, like still. Don't get me wrong, I think keeper's a great position where you can get a bargain if they want to look elsewhere. Yeah. Definitely think that's capable. But, you know, I think aside from their wingers, we say keeper, we say probably a left back. They still got Jed Spence on their list. You got to send him on loan. Get some of these players who they signed with great potential. Get them having games elsewhere because, like DM is really crucial. I think. Yeah. I think if you're going to spend money, go to the DM. But like players like Gallagher, don't think cut it. I don't get the Gallagher signing at all. I don't think he makes any sense.
I don't know. It was just someone they're linked to. I think that what I've seen as a United supporter, having Casemiro as the DM.
It's revolutionised you guys.
It's revolutionised us in the sense that I think he's like, don't get me wrong, we've brought in Martinez and we've had a whole different defence. Yeah. But you look at the games that Casemiro hasn't played, even with Martinez, Varane, Dalot, Shaw playing, they look shaky.
Yeah.
A DM covers you up. You look at the best teams in the world. You look at when Real Madrid were a big team, they had Casemiro there. Yeah. You look at Rodri. If you somehow need to like cover the defence. Yeah. You don't want your defence being touched. The defence is the last resort.
I think you even look at Arsenal, like when they fell off. Yeah. Whose fall off was the biggest in the team? Partey went from, you know, being in the conversation with Casemiro and Rodri to borderline, you know, being like, okay, we need to sign it. And now we're going in for Declan Rice because it showed that when Partey fell off, the whole team fell off and we literally lost the title in a matter of weeks because the fall off in some of our key positions was so big. Yeah. So I just think, you know, the nature of the game where Declan Rice is being rumoured for 100 mil, Caicedo is being rumoured for 70 mil, shows how important this DM position is. And look, I don't think Spurs are going to necessarily have the funds to go in and get a big one. Yeah. But I think there's definitely players available, like across the different leagues, because, you know, obviously Ange is shown to have a knack of finding these talents. That Spurs need to go in that DM position and try and find a bargain, you know, who's capable of playing the ball, bigger body, who can be a staple in their team. Yeah. So
you're thinking winger and DM, Antonio?
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. I think they do need.
Kulusevski's a good sign.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, they need to get defensive things, but I think just the DM is the most. The most important with DM signings. An interesting one to think about. We obviously got Paulinho, who is a notable one, but Calvin Phillips. City bought him for 50. Cool. City bought him for 50. You could probably get him for 30 since he has not played football in a whole year pretty much.
City have also been linked with Rice. So if they were to get Rice.
And it's someone who's played in the league and read in the league. I think it's so underrated. But the thing about Jota as well, Portuguese players tend to adjust, and I guess Portuguese league players tend to adjust really well to the Premier League. Yeah. So, like, you look at the past, all these Portuguese players have come and just done a job instantly. Yeah. Like Bruno Diaz,
Fabio Vieira.
No, it's true though. They don't look awful. But I think like if you go to a winger, I reckon that's a decent shout. It's reasonable. It's gettable. For me, I just think you have to get a centre back. So like Pau Torres has always been out there. His release clause is so small. He's a ball playing. He's Villarreal, so he's got European experience. I think that's going to be a great option to get.
Next to Romero, get rid of Dyer, obviously. Is that?
I think Dyer has to be a midfield rotational player. That's the way you go.
I think Dyer makes McTominay look good, if I'm going to be completely honest. And I wouldn't put McTominay on a pitch in the whole Premier League.
Yeah, that's a good clip right there.
Yeah, and Flynn, you reckon the same thing? So work from the back first.
I think keeper. I think every successful Premier League team always has a great keeper. I think David Raya is young, ball playing, good hands. He's coming from a Premier League club who's doing really well. I would probably spend upwards to 30.
Here's an option. Sanchez from Brighton or Raya from
I'm going
Brent.
Right.
Yeah,
I rate Robert Sanchez, but I just think that, like, the fact that he can't get into De Zerbi's team, and when De Zerbi sort of plays a style which Ange is sort of going to be similar to, I think it's sort of reflective of what Spurs don't need.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I think Sanchez is probably a little bit cheaper since Jason Steele has become the number one now. But I just think David Raya is exactly what you need in a keeper. I see him make so little mistakes, which I think is crucial, because mistakes can get blown really out of proportion, which can really suddenly, I think, affect the player's confidence and their whole sort of, I guess, the outlook as a player. So I think that's really important. You know, low mistake keeper has, I think, really solid hands, really good with his feet.
100%,
And I think would be a really good fit for Spurs. And then I'd probably look to go get a left back as well. The left back market seems to be pretty small. I don't think there's one of the Premier League that can go sign. Like, I think Estupiñán is out of the question. You know, even though he's at Brighton, one of the lesser clubs in the league. They're performing so well. I don't think he's going to want to leave.
Well, why would he leave? He's to go play.
He's not.
No European football.
He'd get paid more at Spurs, but I don't think he's going to leave. You know, for example, to go to Spurs.
Well, you look at McAllister and Caicedo. They're only leaving to go to bigger clubs. I know Liverpool, like.
Yeah, no, that
makes sense.
Leverpool will be back at the top. Spurs.
At least they're playing Europa League.
But I mean, look, I think if I was in Ange's position, I'd be like, okay, try and get 70, 80 mil, maybe even 100 if they're lucky for Kane. Unlikely, but I'd say, okay, 25, 30 mil for Raya, you know, 25 mil on a left back, and if you can spend 50 mil on a DM, that's what I do. I think they have enough areas around them to, at least for the short term, because I think that's the short term necessities.
Have to,
Long term, you know, another great winger would be really nice, but I think if they can get, if there's at least, you know, sort of an essence of the style they want to play, early days, then I think that'll give Ange more time.
100%.
Because fans will see that.
Fans speak nowadays,
yeah. And then I think that's sort of the general progression of the club, you know, sort out the basic groundworks first and then get the sort of players around them.
Yeah, so building on that, I guess one point from you all before we wrap on these guys, what is a positive season next season for Ange? What do you reckon is something that is minimum need to be done?
I think, personally, I think top 7's good, but I also think the style of play is very crucial. If they can start getting results in big games and they have a good style of play, I think that shows so much more progression than, you know, just like scraping a top 6 or like a. I mean, if they can beat, don't get me wrong, if they can be contention for Champions League, I think that's a great
massive
season. I think that's really competitive at the moment. And is it next year top 5 as champs?
Is it?
Is it
because it's extending the Champions League?
Next. I think it's next.
A couple years, but I mean, I personally think it's more dependent upon style of play. And I mean, look, a cup would be really nice because obviously Spurs want to break that trophy out, but I think that's overrated. I think the whole cup thing is overrated. Like, no one cares about the Carabao Cup.
Basically, no.
FA Cup's cool, but like, I think for Spurs, the first thing is sort out the way you want to play and just go hard with that conviction. With Arsenal, you know, it took us a long time to get that going. Like, I think your first month on a Ten Hag looked pear-shaped, you know, losing 4-0 or 4-0 in the first 30 minutes against Brentford. But I think overall for Spurs, successful season would be style of play and just progressing up the ranks.
From me, I think top like 8. I wouldn't even say top 7. I'd say top 8 just because there's so many big teams. Well, now
they
we
are
can't
so
even,
poor
now
as well,
we,
They are so bad. Like, honestly, Spurs was so bad at the end of the year.
Like, and we look at like, now we can't even really say the big 6 because now Newcastle's in that bracket, it's really a big 7. Then you got the likes of Aston Villa and Brighton who are going to be up there as well,
spending money.
And you don't know who else, like Fulham. Maybe now that Nottingham Forest has actually. I said my personal prediction is a big year from Nottingham Forest because those teams that spend all that money, if their biggest problem is surviving. If they survive that year after,
Villa is prime example.
So like. I was like with Nottingham Forest. I think I had this chat with you on the first one I was on. And if they survive, I reckon they could push top 10. Nottingham Forest.
Top half finish,
it was always just like, we have this. Now they know what they got to fix.
They got that big squad.
They got rid of a couple.
Cleansing that out now. Who you want to keep? Who's there for the future?
So I'd say top 8. I'd say top 8 and I'd say at least a cup semi-final. I know you say that a cup's not important, but it's just to show that they can go on a little bit of a run for the fans.
For some of the fans, it's really important, like, especially Spurs fans. I mean, like, look, we have probably had a bit more cup success despite having bad years. Like we won the FA Cup and we finished eighth. It definitely, at least what the cup does is like null some of the pressure.
Softens a blow.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely can paper over some of the cracks.
Yeah.
So, look, I agree with you in that sense, but overall, I think for me, style of play is key.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that both of the solo player thing. I just think you have to get some sort of even if it's conference
some
league.
Results. You need some results.
Just because you can't be seen now in the modern market, you cannot attract the big name players without Europe or
spending a lot of money.
Yeah, and both of our clubs now the last few years have experienced that. We can't get the ones that we'd always just throw the money out and get in the past because you need to be in Europe. So I think I like the solo player thing. I like the cup run thing, but for me, just if you have to, just get seventh or whatever. Or win a cup to get a conference.
Do you think if they get seventh, they're actually going to show? Like if they just scrape top 6, top 7, and they're not playing and just style of football, I don't think that shows any progression.
In a way, I understand that, but it was similar with United and Ten Hag. Ten Hag wanted to play out the back, passing it out. It wasn't working the first month, so we reverted to more.
I know you guys finished third, but like, I still think that the gap between the top two, at least this year,
definitely,
and the next bracket is so big. And I think the only reason Arsenal have been able to bridge that gap is because we committed so hard to playing Arteta
style ball,
and it's paid dividends in the sense that the only team which still beats us pretty comfortably is City, which is a flaw in itself because we're trying to we can beat every other team playing our style, except City, who will play a better version of our style, beat us. But I think it does show progression that like we've been able to bridge that gap because we've gone so hard on one sort of methodology that it's really, I guess, it's working out well. And I think the long term outlook is stronger when you have more conviction on a style than it is when you sort of try and scrape results.
I understand. But that's just the pressure's obviously going to be there because his whole background and where he's come from and what his nationality is. But I think you're right. Back to Aussie. Any last words before we head off? Moving on to City, which you sort of mentioned them just previously there. Winning the treble, second English side now to do that after the Manchester rivals did it in 99. I guess we'll start with the FA Cup final. Was City dominated it basically from start to finish. We both, as I watched. I couldn't say much about. They were just incredible to watch.
Just touching on that, the broadcast Paramount Plus was horrible.
Yes,
honestly,
terrible.
Yeah, saw that out, man.
Cut
I was tweeting about that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Australians are struggling.
That was so bad.
That treble was a bit of a dagger in the heart, I'd say.
It's just how easy they did it.
Yeah, I feel like the FA Cup, even though we brought it back to 1-1 and they only won 2-1, I just
1-1 with the most.
I must say,
penalty I've ever seen.
The penalty is dodgy. In the modern game,
I was messaging him. He was full on saying, clear pen.
In the modern game, probably is a penalty.
In the modern game, it is a pen. I agree. It shouldn't be a pen.
I completely disagree.
It shouldn't be a pen, but it's a clear pen.
I completely disagree.
Okay,
I've seen so many.
I know this is going a bit off topic, but do you think that Roma should have got a pen?
That's where it comes up.
Yes, they should have. Yes.
Mourinho is. Did you say what's the ref's name?
The English.
What is his name?
He got attacked to the airport.
Is it Taylor? No.
Taylor. God, did you see him in the airport?
Yeah.
The fans
throwing chairs.
Oh my God.
We'll get into that a bit.
later. Yeah. Crying.
You have to understand that both of them should not be a pen. But under the current game, they are a pen. I'll give you the best example. United versus Real Sociedad, first game of the I think it was first game of the Europa League group stage. We lost 1-0 by a penalty. We end up finished second in the group, having to go versus Barcelona. That's a big thing. And then if that's not a pen in the final, why should it be a pen there? And in my opinion, they're both pens under the
way it's looked at.
Under the ruling.
Jurisdiction of the game. I understand what you're saying. Look,
so it shouldn't be. I agree with that.
If it was my team, look, I definitely think I'm making a case.
Yeah.
But I've seen us screwed over so many times this year that it's
dodgy. Yeah.
Especially these handballs, they're just. I feel like they're so grey and they're so inconsistent with how they pay them. I've seen so many worse ones. I feel like not get paid,
it's just the way it is now with all VAR. So everything gets slowed down to every sort of pixel, where everything looks 10 times worse.
It really changed the way it actually. Yeah.
But I guess the point is, despite been giving a free goal, they did nothing with it. The stats don't look bad.
Yeah, but it was a terrible.
United didn't throw a punch.
Game. Even though it was 1-1, I was saying. I just don't see a way we win.
Yeah.
There was no way we won. Like, we were 1-1 and even they scored late, but like...
It never feels like you guys were in control.
Yeah, it never felt like it.
It always feels like City have another gear to go to.
And this is what it always feels like, though.
It's pretty deflating.
Even in the Champions League, like they did not play great in either cup final.
They got dominated, to be honest.
But they won both because they're just that good. Like
the XG was crazy. It was like 2 goals 5 to Inter to like 1 goal.
Yeah.
Like City.
There's Gundogan turned into Zinedine Zidane in like finals in important games.
After March, he's just incredible.
The 2 volleys, and we're talking he had 2 volleys the whole game. And the first one was just sublime. And the second one, I know it went through a few players and stuff, and the goalkeeper couldn't see. Realistically, if De Gea could see, he'd probably save that. But
that first volley was nuts. What was it, 14 seconds?
Straight in the game.
I saw the Mark goal.
Poor defending, though. Poor defending. Yeah. The players should. We're not versing Fulham.
He's hitting an open.
We're not versing Fulham. They should not have a player free on the edge of the box.
Yeah.
Like
that early in the game.
It's like, would you leave Messi in that situation on the edge of the box?
Yeah, Gundogan and Messi are pretty comparable.
Yeah, same sort of player. But we're Gundogan after March. I'll pay that. Gundogan after March.
After March, Gundogan is Messi.
No, honestly, Gundogan.
But seriously, City just incredible. Like, right now, like you said, the gap is huge. Yeah, and the reason they're the closest because they can play the closest to like it.
And even then, we like it shows that when the pressure came down to it, we crumbled.
Yeah.
And you can say that's an Arsenal thing, but I just think I think it's actually a greater reflection of City.
Yeah.
And their dominance.
Yeah.
And their ability to win 15, 16, 17 games in a row when push comes to shove.
Yeah.
Like,
not sweat either. Like, they just do it easy.
I'm not sure what the next progression of this City team is, but it doesn't look like they're slowing down from the surface level.
Yeah.
No.
Who knows? Pep's finally won his Champions League. They've won the treble. Don't get me wrong. I think it still becomes hard to maintain that level of, I guess, assertion and motivation and the will to win.
Yeah.
But I think City's got these guys so nailed down. Such a great work ethic within the squad. They're obviously celebrating hard. Grealish is obviously
on the straight to Manchester.
Obviously celebrating very hard.
Yeah.
But I think, look, as August 11th comes around, or August 12th or whatever is the kickoff comes around, and that City team might take a few weeks as they normally do to get into the swing of things. Yeah. But come December, Boxing Day, they go on a run and they're pretty unstoppable. So, look, I think it'll be really, really interesting. I do think though, if they're going to fall off, it's more likely to happen this year than any year in the past, purely just because they won everything.
Yeah,
I do struggle to think. I don't care really who you are.
Yeah,
I do struggle to think that any
mentality
team can keep that same mentality.
Well, you look at Pep's Barca; they didn't really fall off.
No. Tots, I hear you. But I just think that if there's going to be, they haven't fallen off for 6 years. If there is going to be a fall off, then I probably do think that the most likely is to occur this year. Saying that.
All I'm saying now, though, if they want to win another Champions League, next is probably the best year because Real Madrid is looking scary now. We'll get onto them a bit later with transfers. But
their midfield is cracked.
But if City want to go and do it, I'd be saying this is our time to just just keep going.
Before they unite,
let's keep rolling.
That Madrid midfield comes into proper fruition. Bellingham's young. Yeah. Tuchemani's young.
And you got Xavi's doing
young.
Camavinga.
That midfield is
Are we missing anyone?
But the Spanish giants are going to be giants again. Barcelona's moving in the right direction.
Mbappe's going to Real. I don't know when, but it'll be 2-3 years. But he'll be.
Well, it's funny you say that because Mbappe is basically wanting to force a transfer, and PSG. We'll touch on this later. Yeah. PSG don't look like they're not going to let him go for free. So we'll touch on that soon. Yeah. But that is a very interesting sort of dynamic.
With Benzema leaving.
Well, we spoke about Kane. We spoke about Mbappe.
It's all going to fall into place.
How that happens.
I guess just sort of finishing up on City really. So it's all come out race. Who do you reckon is the best team out of the 99 and the 2023 team? I guess getting your thoughts on the team's qualities.
I think a head-to-head, the City team blitz them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also accredit that to, more so the progression of the whole game.
Yeah.
Rather than just the City team being 100%. So much better. Whereas if I was to compare this City team's dominance in the era compared to United dominance in the era, I would almost... they're so hard to compare. That United team, I'm not sure what their dominance was prior to 99, but I know they went on to win...
After it is...
I know they went on to win 12 Premier Leagues or whatever it was. In that whole era. And obviously City...
Can't take one away.
City look on track.
They look at that though, yeah. They're going...
But they've won... I think they've won.
It's
They won 5 of the last
five?
6, and they've
Five?
won. I think they've won 7 or 8 of the last 10.
But saying that, I know there's been like a lot talked about this, but if you think about the teams that are competing, so you had the Arsenal this year that competed with City. Apart from the
This is
Arsenal,
the worst. This has been the worst year for competition, though.
Yeah, for competition.
Liverpool have been banged.
Yeah, so apart from
Pushed
Liverpool,
them
though,
to a centurion season. Yeah.
but apart from Liverpool, Liverpool had 2 good years, okay?
No, I think that's not true. I think
I
it
think
was
year-
4 to 5 good
Yeah,
years.
every year was
really.
basically
They had
those.
like 1 year where they had all the injuries.
They were in the
1 year they had all
listen,
that injuries.
They were in the Champions League final. They lost. They were in the Champions League final again. They won.
The first Champions League final, they finished fifth.
Then they won the Prem.
They finished 5th in the first Champions League final.
No, but that's not the point, though. The point is that they were a Champions League final team.
You're saying Tottenham was a great team then?
Tottenham were a great team then. Okay, they came second.
No, but you're not a great team because you go on a cup run.
So what means you're great? If you don't win the Champions League, are you a great team?
If you don't, no.
So City
but
City
cup
prior
run,
to this year, were they a great team?
But you're not a great team if you go on a cup run.
Team.
I'm not saying the Champions League's the hardest one to win, but you've seen it. Okay, my best example is you look at the World Cup. Well, is Argentina the best team in the World Cup? No, they went on a cup run.
But I mean, how else are you gonna differentiate the best team in the world?
It's league. It's league. That's how I look at the best team in the world.
But Tots, you can only deal with what you're
Liverpool
dealt.
have had 2 good years in the league.
But the point of the Premier League though, it's what you the way I judge is what you face. Yeah, it's who's in front of you.
Okay,
Premier League's supposed to be the best league in the world. If you can dominate for
you look when United were winning those 13. We had the Invincibles against us, and Mourinho's Chelsea.
Let's look at it. They won on 85 points every year.
Yeah,
85 points 1 year.
The league's quality wasn't there
in a 2-horse race every year.
Yeah.
Nowadays, City were being pushed to 100 points to win the league. It was a 2-horse race. Chelsea had their seasons.
Chelsea and Arsenal and United were fighting a lot.
Yeah, but one year would be one team would be off.
So every year here, it's been Liverpool and City and Chelsea, or Spurs.
Not really.
What has been Chelsea won the Champions League, Chelsea won the league, Chelsea.
Chelsea do 1 year wonders every 5 years.
But the point is that like back then it was a pretty 2-horse race because Arsenal had their 4 or 5 year spell where they won it in
early 2000s.
Like 94 and then whatever the hell they won, and they were 2002, 2004, whatever it is. But they had their spell, but they weren't a 10-year domination with United. It was United were the constant, and then within there, Chelsea had their time, Arsenal had their time, Chelsea were again.
There were subplots within the major plot.
I'm not discrediting
the same as with.
I'm not discrediting City. I'm just saying that I don't know.
City's a younger.
City. You look at like United have completely dropped off during that time. Realistically, apart from this year, Arsenal have been completely dropped off this time.
Yeah, I agree.
This time, Chelsea during Pep's reign, how many good years have Chelsea had? 1 maybe.
Yeah, probably 2 or 3. Probably 2 or 3. But. Probably 2.
Yeah,
but
Liverpool have had maybe. Okay, let's be generous, and they've had 3 good years in Pep's 7 years.
But is this because? Are you saying they've been bad, which is sort of what you're
saying? No. I'm saying City have been very good.
I'm saying the other teams around them have been bad.
That's a good point, yeah.
Or City have just been so good. Like they've been winning the league on 95 points every year. That the gap is so big.
That's what I'm saying.
That they just don't look as good. I think there's a big part of that which goes to that.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and then when Liverpool pushed them to 99 points and 100 points, like
they still won.
Like how much more evidence do you need to say that this team is like unbeatable than being pushed to 100 points?
We've had this argument before then. Is this not even the best City team then?
No, I think it's a very valid debate.
I think it is.
I think the whole point is kind of shows that how good this City team have been. They just won the treble, and you're saying this wasn't the best City team. So how good's their longevity been then?
Yeah.
100%. But I think you're going to compare the longevity of United at this point. In 5 years' time, come back and I'll agree. If City go win 3 in the next 5, they don't even need to win 5. 3 in the next 5. Yeah. Premier League, maybe win 1 more Champions League in the next 10 years.
1 more Champions League.
Couple more cups in there.
I'm just saying 1 in the next 10. I'm just saying.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Okay? Yeah, you can come to me and I'll agree with you 100%. But we're talking about right now a longevity of 1990, even before then. Like, yeah.
Late 90s.
But I got to pick. This is what I'm trying to say. The new sort of Sir Alex's and Arsenal's who sit there for 20 years and do a job. That don't exist anymore.
So yeah.
Pep Guardiola, when he put it all together, this is in basketball terms, a dynasty. Like he's gone from Barca dominate, one of the best, actually the best team to probably ever play football.
His coach arguably the 2 best teams
of
ever.
All time.
Yeah. And look, people say the money this, the money that.
You can't say that anymore.
Not every coach there's only select coaches in the world that are capable of coaching good players.
Yeah,
you look at PSG.
Yeah.
No one can win with PSG.
But that's characters as well, more than the good players.
But there's
characters are part of
the characters.
What do you mean? They're probably like something. Like
Okay, well, having Neymar and Mbappe, Messi at the it's all about.
But do you reckon Pep would have had all three of them there?
No, Pep would never have done that.
Exactly.
No. But I'm just saying that's a bit different.
The point.
Managers are going into PSG with those players already there.
Yeah, but Pep has
no manager would want that. No manager would want that.
Pep has coached some massive names. I think Pep probably the best coach in history.
That Barca team, though, Neymar, Suarez, Messi. But
what else?
Again, they were selfless.
They were selfless. What does that mean?
It means
they were selfless.
Okay, if you're going to have three players of that quality, they got to be have a good relationship.
He's coached
Zlatan.
Zlatan.
Yeah, I want to beat, but saying they were selfless is you weren't in the dressing room.
You're right.
If social media was as prominent back then as it is now, painting Messi and Neymar and Mbappe as like these villains,
I know,
owning all this money. Every headline, every company wants a headline. Of course, they're going to make it the most augmented situation ever. Dramatizing the whole thing. I think saying they were more selfless is
but it's just naive. It's the thing of I know it's a total different situation, but you look at the likes of when Pep was at Barca, he'd go, okay, Ibra Edo, you're playing left wing. Just go here. You're not going to go tell Mbappe to play out of position for Messi or vice versa or something like that. Yeah, I know it's a different type of Messi.
It's like saying, okay, who's taking pens in this PSG team?
Yeah, exactly.
You think Messi's arguably the greatest player, probably the greatest player of all time? Yeah. Is no, I'm not taking pens. How do you sort that out?
But there needs to be a hierarchy. I think the biggest problem with PSG was there was three players who at that point were all regarded the same. Yeah. With Barcelona, there was Messi up here. And then, don't get me wrong, the drop wasn't big when you go to Neymar and Suarez and Xavi and Iniesta.
Neymar was looked at the same way Mbappe was looked at in terms of
he was. Yeah, in terms of being but Messi's not looked at the same way that
he was back then. I get what you're saying.
As he was back then.
Yeah. I think that the point we're trying to say though is
come on, 2012 Messi, 91 goals. You're not going to compare that to now.
Pep, probably the greatest. He can just control teams. I reckon Walker, the likes of, I reckon Haaland would be a mess to deal with in the challenger, but he controls them, right? He's got them all going. And it might appear that they're also,
I think to achieve the greatness all these players have achieved and be the best players on the planet, you have to have some intrinsic motivation. Yeah. You can't just assume that all these guys are, waltzing around like Aubameyang in the Ferrari and their gold clothes. It's not how it is. No. These guys obviously are obviously so self-motivated.
But that's the characters.
But you say it's the characters, but I'm talking about...
I've seen United, it's the characters. You look at the different type of characters coming through.
I'm saying, I'm comparing these guys to Mbappe, Neymar, all these guys at PSG, all these guys at They are obviously... To achieve the level these guys have achieved, to be in the Brownlow tour... not Brownlow.
The Ballon d'Or.
To be in the Ballon d'Or conversation and win the Golden Boot, win the league every year. You can't just be gifted with amazing ball skills. You have to you have to have put in so many hours and worked so hard, maintain yourself off the field so much. I think differentiating the level of drive between these guys would be so minuscule, except the media just loves to paint these narratives about certain players.
But at that level, you think the level between you look at the lower Premier League clubs and the higher, that level is so high, even going to the Belgian league, going to it's so high that these things that are so minuscule, but those minuscule stuff make a world of difference. They differentiate those type. They differentiate.
I agree with you, but I also just think that it's. I think the narrative is more so that Mbappe doesn't care.
No, obviously not. Yeah. But there would be players that did have a little bit more. You can't say that Ronaldo was a complete psycho and cared more than other players.
I agree with what you're saying. Yeah. I think
to an extent,
everyone cares. Everyone has to care to play at that level. Obviously. You can't play at that level without caring because if you didn't care, you wouldn't train. So my point
is that just to assume that Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe are these big hustles in the chain. They probably are, big personalities. But I also really highly doubt that these guys aren't putting in the same work that everyone in Man City's team is doing, and that Pep also has an amazing ability to draw the attention from the media to himself
and
to the team, rather than like. I can't recall one press conference of Ligue 1 where it's been like whoever they're. I mean, they change their manager so frequently
that you don't know who that was there.
All the talk is always on the players because the manager is never like when Pochettino was there. He was not regarded in the same light that Pep was at all.
Yeah.
Or Zidane was at Madrid. Like. All these great managers have this ability to draw the attention upon themselves and then rise upon that pressure.
Exactly. He shoulders a lot of the blows. Like when they start the season and they've lost and drawn one out of the first 5, it's not the players that cop it, it's him because he's like, I work this out, blah, blah, blah. And becoming in the season, you're like, this guy's a mastermind because he does do it.
He can deflect the questions.
Though, but you just look at a City team. I'm not I'm just saying it's different personalities you've got to deal with because you look at the City team, like you've got Haaland who doesn't track back, but you look at the Grealish and Bernardo Silva.
But you say that,
he doesn't track back because he doesn't want to.
No, but it's not because they want to.
He gets told probably not to.
Yeah, but the Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe shouldn't track back. Like Haaland shouldn't track back because they shouldn't be wasting. But you can't have all 3 of them not tracking back. That's the problem.
I agree with you, but I think the problem stems from them not having a good enough coach.
Coach to put faith in.
You gotta
the fact that Zlatan, Eto'o, and Messi put their faith in him.
Like if you had anyone else at at Man City,
it won't work.
Like bro, Grealish is doing for 100 mil. Pep has been able to manage to get Grealish's
that's
name.
That's because of Premier League inflation. Grealish is a great player, but he's not a.
But that's the point. That's the point of the story.
For any other coach, Grealish should have been looked at like Pep managed to get Grealish's price tag and the aura that comes with that. Nullified to without Grealish just be like this role player in Man City's
100%.
He defends first now.
Even last year when he didn't have a good year, I remember Pep saying, well, he's doing the exact role that I'm telling him
This is what I'm saying.
So he always does.
That's a great manager.
He always does those kind of stuff.
Who knows if Pep was coaching PSG, if he could have nullified all this pressure around all 3, like the big 3, and allow them to just like play a role as some of these best superstars that have played the game.
Yeah.
I think he would have been capable of that. So it's definitely up for debate. Yeah. It's an interesting conversation regarding like the names in the City team. But look, I think the moral of the story is that Pep is one of the greatest, if not the greatest,
manager of all time.
The City team is definitely up there as one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. It's debatable to be the greatest. I can't see them slowing down anytime soon.
Exactly. Yeah.
And look, it's. The domination is scary, especially with the forecast and investment they're looking to do. Apparently they're bringing in Rice. Apparently they're in the conversation for Rice.
I was going to say, so they've already lined up Kovacic, Rice, to replace Bernardo Silva and Gundogan if they do leave, because Bernardo Silva seems like he's leaving every year, but never leaves. That was
one of the things with West Ham. I heard there's pretty prominent. It's Rice for Calvin Phillips.
You got sources.
Yeah, sources. He's inside.
How'd you hear?
But then, like saying, like they're replacing guys already for superstars. Like they don't just like go and just get someone for the hope of it working. And you see like how Pep bleeds in like the Palmers of the world, the Rico Lewises of the world, who are going to be superstars in 3 years' time. But he bleeds them in perfectly.
So underrated from Pep. So underrated. This ability to like
Palmer is a quality player. He just bled him in
Rico. That's really perfectly.
Like and so Kovacic and Rice, they might not be like obviously they're great players, but they're not. You don't think of them as high as Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. But I bet you next year you'll be saying Kovacic is one of the best midfielders in the world.
Kovacic hasn't been spoken in that conversation for years now. Pep sees that. Pep looks at value as a player and says, I'm going to bring him in. He's going to be such a role player. Like, I can think of a couple of like amazing goals Kovacic has scored. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised as soon as he goes into that City team. He starts doing what Gundogan is doing. Yeah. And he wins a player of the month.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. But I think it's a lot easier as well when you're playing with players. When you got like...
Well, he was playing around a Champions League winning team.
Yeah. He won a Champions
League. Kovacic will suit how City plays a lot more than how Chelsea plays, number one. And number two, but I'm not saying that's credit to Pep. Yeah. That's credit to Pep that he's going to suit it more. Yeah, but that he sees those type of players.
Like where is Rice's role in that City team if he goes?
That's the question.
He's not going to play DM.
And he's
not going to play.
He's made him some more.
He's going to do what Calvin Phillips did.
I'm sorry, but if they sign Rice, I know the price tag for Pep.
So you think he'll start?
Yes,
100%. I see him playing
in front of him.
I think he plays as a box to box.
I think Gundogan's leaving there.
No, they play Rodri, De Bruyne, and they play Rice in there as well.
I think that'll be their start.
But that's just At one stage, Pep was the whole thing was, I'll play Bernardo Silva, they're that more attacking option. Now he's going back into that.
No. Rice is he's better going forward than he is defending.
Rice is very good going forward.
He is one of the most talented on the ball midfielders England have got.
A really good part of his game.
No, I understand that, but I don't know. Unless Gundogan's leaving, he's not going to start Rice over Gundogan.
Yeah, but I don't think he doesn't come in if Gundogan doesn't leave.
Yes,
I think he's coming in.
He would also start 100% start Rice over Gundogan.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Declan Rice is severely
underrated. In
underrated.
terms of you think that Rice is a better
Rice
player.
Is overpriced,
So you think Rice is a better player than Gundogan?
I think right now,
100%
Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
All round better than Gundogan.
Yeah.
Gundogan is an amazing player, but his deficiencies get covered so well in the City team because of how good Rodri is.
Just by what Gundogan does in those important games is enough.
Gundogan's good. Look at Rice in big games for West Ham.
He's
delivers as well.
He's massive.
He is such a staple in that team.
I think Declan Rice is severely underrated.
Gundogan is very good.
I don't think Declan Rice is a great player, but I think he'd be suited so much more to an Arsenal.
I think Kovacic in a possession-based team is capable of doing what Gundogan does very similarly as well. Don't get me wrong. I think Gundogan is a great goal-scoring threat.
He'll be doing like a Valverde, I can that's what he'll be doing. He'll just be bagging goals, assists, because he will sit so perfectly in that midfield. If you're surrounded by De Bruyne and Rodri, I could go and play there and probably get 4 goals and 4 assists, but...
Yeah, you'd be around there.
But the point is, though, they keep developing. They don't
City
stop.
weren't more in for Bellingham?
I don't think he doesn't want Bellingham, though.
I think he was a perfect player for that.
I know what you mean there. I know what you mean. In terms of the Gundo role and that.
But then you look at City, apart from Grealish really, City like to sign their little 60, 70 million.
But they're not going to get Rice for that, which actually leads into your point pretty well, because Arsenal already bet apparently.
I think it's 70, 80 million.
I saw 80 get rejected from Fabrizio.
The trustful source.
But so it looks like it's going to go for probably north of 100.
So
in that case, it is kind of surprising why they weren't more in for Bellingham. But
because City likes to make maybe $60 million signings or $60 million signings.
Yeah.
That's what their big thing is, and that's probably a better way to go about it.
Their whole defense is sort of that, like a Kanji, Ake.
Then go to a United and go, we're going to go sign 120 million, and then what? We do nothing else.
2 players.
Yeah, then we do nothing else. There's a lot of. Don't get me wrong, you can't go do $20 million signings, but there's a lot of. Quality 60 million.
Works for us.
I'm going to say 20 million.
Because we got a lot of 30 mils. We got Odegaard was 30. Ramsdale was 30. Jesus was, I don't know, I think 40.
He was very cheap.
Jesus was 50 still.
Zinchenko was 30.
Yeah.
Do
you think you might go clean up any more of City? Do you reckon Arsenal might go clean up any more of City?
We were linked with Gundo.
Cancelo's there.
Cancelo as well. Yeah. But I don't think we'll get Cancelo just because I just don't think...
Too expensive?
I think too expensive for a fullback.
Well, he's going to be about 80 million.
You see we're in for Havertz? We're in for Havertz?
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, I definitely want to touch on when we go transfer. We're going to touch on that.
Striker?
Well, we'll touch on that in a second. I was talking to someone else about this and we was having a good discussion about how Havertz fits into our team, and I'm not really certain, but I'm not a huge fan of it, but I also don't hate it.
I think it's a smart.
But is it a depth?
If you want, we're moving on that. We're going to the transfers now, I guess.
Touch up on City.
We'll start, I guess, with the Arsenal stuff. So Rice and Havertz. Talk about those guys.
So look, I think Declan Rice and Havertz show a lot of intent, but I think first of all, they show a great intent because as we said before, we've gone from signing a lot of 30, 40 mil, 50 mil players who in nowadays market is nothing substantial.
Yeah.
More role playing, filling cracks here and there. Honestly, I think signing big money players shows a lot of intent for us to, I guess, expand.
Push on
to actually challenge City and potentially challenge in the European Cup.
Yep.
And look, so the Rice signing, I am definitely a massive fan of. I really rate Declan Rice. I think look, Partey's good. But I think Partey's biggest deficiencies, to be honest, are going defensively.
Yes, struggle sometimes.
Right. He's as a ball carrier, he's very good. In a probably a 2 pivot, he's really, really good. But I think as a single pivot, which he's tried to do, he's just lacked a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think if we were to keep him, which I'm not sure is going to be the case, I think we might be rumoured with getting rid of Partey, to be honest. But Partey or Xhaka, one or both might go.
Yeah.
But I think the Rice signing, I don't really like overpaying for players because I think it sets the standard for where you can get bullied in the market, like you guys have, I think, in the past, because clubs know you'll overpay, you can get bullied into overpaying for everyone. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
But I think Rice is such a necessity in this team to get this club moving forward.
Yeah.
I would be very for spending 100 million ish on that. Havertz, I think, is an interesting one because, look, firstly, if we're going to sign him as a striker, I like the fact he's a different dynamic to Jesus.
Versatile, yeah.
I like that a lot. And I also like the fact that different like physicality, but they're both hold-up play. Like they're both capable of hold-up play on the ball strikers, which is, I think, suits our team really, really well. Because we get a lot of goals at the left wing, we get a lot of goals at the right wing.
Wingers are your goals.
A lot of goals at Odegaard.
Yeah.
We don't really necessarily need a 30-goal player in our team. It'd be nice. But then again, you look at City. I mean, Haaland comes in. They obviously still is dominant. They won the treble. But like what Haaland did was retract from other players' goal scoring abilities.
Yep.
You know, a lot of less goals were out of their surrounding players.
The Mahrez or the Bernardos.
Out of Haaland. So that does that. I don't think we need to do that. I think we're capable of still getting 15 goals out of Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard. I think we're capable of doing that. What I think Havertz does is allows us to, in games where Jesus is getting bullied for height or we want to change two up top, definitely allows our ball playing left backs, right backs, and Odegaard and these great ball playing players in our team with the ball in.
There's an option.
I don't think Havertz is the greatest on his head, but he's still 6'3", 6'2", whatever
height,
it is. You know, very different dynamic.
I just don't see why. Like the Rice one makes complete sense. You go even if you need to go spend excess of 100 million, complete makes sense. You got a bit of a deficiency. You're saying with Partey, but like so, is Havertz going to come in and start over Jesus?
So. Look, I think you have to remember we're playing Champions League next year. We haven't played Champions League in so many years.
Wouldn't there be other problems like you were saying?
Would you not love at your team to be able to have
a backup?
You don't even have one striker, let alone like two. I mean, would you not love to be able to have Martial and someone else, like a fit Martial?
But do you think Havertz would come to you to sit on the bench?
No, because I think he'd start certain games.
He'd have a job as well because everyone forget he can play. If he really has to, he can play at 10. He can play as a 10. If Odegaard's cooked because he's only playing a lot of games next season, he is a 10.
Odegaard wears the number 8. He's capable of playing as that second.
You just drop everyone back.
So would you be happy with like a Rice, Odegaard,
Havertz midfield? 100%. I think that's very fluid and dynamic.
Yeah. So that's a bit more like a City midfield, would you say?
Yeah, in terms of the body, I think in terms of the physicality, 100%. Havertz has got that De Bruyne body.
Yeah. Yes.
Rice matches Rodri a lot, and Odegaard
Rodri.
matches anyone else who comes. Gundogan,
or
if Kovacic is there, or like
Bernardo Silva dropping.
Bernardo Silva. I mean,
I haven't watched enough of Odegaard. Is he defensively all right?
He works.
Look, he works hard.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen Odegaard like lay a massive crunching tackle or anything like that.
If you have Declan Rice,
but that's not the guy he's supposed to be because we say like we play such a high possession brand of the game anyway. So it's more so as him. What is Odegaard's press like from the midfield, and what is his sort of outlet pass like? So what Odegaard does is when he plays more defensively, he's a great option to as a bounce pass to the fullbacks, and he's really comfortable on the ball, which is really important in a ball playing possession defensive team.
It depends how you going to use Havertz. I think he's a good signing depending on how you use him.
I think he's too expensive. Firstly, so I want to clarify on that because I've seen 70
no chance in hell you're going to
spend 80.
Well, look that. Like I've seen, we're not going to spend 70. Like if we get him for 50 to 60, I would definitely. That's the one. Havertz, he's a Champions League winning player. He's 24 years old.
National team.
He's just turned 24. I think 11th of June. I think I was looking that up.
Yeah.
Plays for Germany. Was doing bits for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. Like I think his stock has probably dropped a little bit because of how poor Chelsea have been, which I think is also a good thing in the sense that we're getting a great player in, hopefully a great player in at
reduced price.
At a lesser price. So look, I like the idea. I don't know if necessarily he's what I would have gone for.
No.
But then again, it's not why I don't work there. I'm not Edu.
I think though it's a smart signing. Like Havertz is one of those guys in that generation where like he was supposed to be that next part of that next golden group, right?
Yeah.
And
he's still young.
Exactly.
24. And
he's been a team that's won a Champions League. They won
scored a Champions League winning goal. He's played well in the big moments.
If he's done a cup, like he's part of a good solid team. He had great coaching as well.
And he was still he's still been a starter and a staple of that Chelsea team despite under every manager that's come in.
He's been their starting striker this year.
Well, yeah, and look, I think to his own detriment, that's not his role.
That's probably I know.
But I think he's a more capable, fluid striker to play as a false nine because he wasn't a false nine. They were trying to play with Raheem Sterling and whoever the other winger was at the time, like Mukalele or
Yeah, and Woodrick was playing out there. Or
Like, they were trying to play, like, this high sort of counter-attack, fast-paced through ball, which doesn't suit him at all.
Yeah.
With Saka and Martinelli, who are goal-scoring threats,
let them go.
him playing as a deeper sort of like, pivot striker or him in the box, I think suits us a lot. And as I said, I don't think he'll be starting every game anyway. I think Jesus is already getting subbed off a lot at 60th minute. I would not be surprised if those two play equal minutes this year, and then Trossard can roll through the middle if they need, or comes in for like I think what Havertz shows that we're really building a very deep,
depth.
very deep forward line. I mean that is, I think, as I said, it shows a lot of intent. Yeah. And if we're playing Champions League, then like you want the ability to almost rotate your top three and have the same quality.
Yeah.
I think almost we're almost there. Like Reece Nelson, I think is so slept on.
Big re-signing.
He is, a bit massive.
re-signing,
I think massive re-signing. When he's come on, he's had an impact in every game.
Yeah.
His goal and assist ratio for 90 minutes is insane because every time he comes on, he scores assists. So, look, I don't think he's necessarily like a Champions League starter, but I think he can come on and play a role in the Prem and Champions League a lot more often than he has.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Smith Rowe comes back and plays a role. So, look, in terms of our attacking line, if we get Havertz as well, I think I'm really sort
dangerous.
I'd buy that stock now if I could.
Yeah.
But what I think Declan Rice does, and I think our only other deficiency if we get those two is maybe right back.
What about a backup centre back?
Yeah. I think if we get right back, that means Ben White can play right back and centre back. So I think Ben White was signed as a great centre back.
Saying that though, why at the end of the season do you think they didn't move Ben White back to centre back?
Tomiyasu was injured.
Okay,
we didn't have a right
back.
back.
The depth of the right back.
Right
back has to be covered.
Which is the problem. I fit Tomiyasu. I really rate Tomiyasu.
So you think he would have done that if Tomiyasu was fit?
100%.
You see where the problem was. The problem was so localised.
Yeah. Like Mikel's been vocal about this. He said that, or people in the camp have said that, like, Ben White, the forecast is to move him to play as a backup centre back or a right back. I mean, if we get Cancelo, I think that works really, really well with the squad depth, at least in the sense that we have an out and out right back, and then we have a great cover in Ben White, who will play every game. Like if he's worried about minutes, he will come on every game and cover for Cancelo.
Yeah, Cancelo's a right type of signing, but to spend 85 million on a right back.
But you don't understand. He knows the system.
He works in the system so well.
He absolutely fits the system. He's done the system.
Not just a right back as well, because if we sell Kieran Tierney, then if we get Cancelo,
he
can play right on the left.
He can play in midfield.
Because minutes rotation is a big issue. What it allows, at least, is if we get Cancelo, is that we can sub off either Cancelo or Zinchenko, and Ben White can come on there,
slide in, or chuck it a centre back.
Or I think we have a lot of. I think for us now, a lot of our depth can come with these players who can play in multiple positions, like Havertz, like
so
Declan
versatile.
Rice, who can play in both. Playing a lot of midfield positions.
He can play all three midfield positions.
We've been playing Partey as a right back for a lot of the year because, I think they've been so set on Declan Rice coming in that it is such a massive step up for us. I mean, and look, we've had a lot of injury tolls. If we can get some of our players who've been out to be fit,
Smith Rowe's a big one.
Smith Rowe. I mean, this happened with Martinelli last year. It looked like everyone was bagging Arteta for saying like, "Well, where's Martinelli? Where's Martinelli?" He's come out. He scored like 15, 16 goals in the Premier League.
Clinical.
Like, I mean, what more do you need from an 8 mil 20-year-old
youngster,
like left winger? Like what more can you ask for? So Smith Rowe can come in and play any sort of similar role. I would be stoked, and I think he will. He just got trust the process tattooed there in Spanish.
So
swear to God, did you say
he's
that?
not even Spanish.
No, because Mikel, he got trust the process tattooed on his hip in Spanish. So I thought that was hilarious. But I mean,
he's locked in. He's absolutely locked in.
Yeah, what that means is I think that's a good indication he's locked in.
Have you seen Woodrick's tattoo?
No, what is it? The neck thing?
Yeah, the neck.
That is fair. It is awful. But I think Havertz he's been slagged off because of what the situation he's been in.
100%.
But this is an awesome. He can play basically anywhere up front. Like just you can chuck him there and he'll do a role. One of the best talents going around, and for the price, like you said, I think that's going to be a must get. I reckon for Arsenal.
I do like it.
I think it has to. Yeah, it has to be a get. If it's for that much of money, 50, 60, I'd take that any other week. You sort of mentioned a bit Bellingham moving to Real, same day as his brother on a Sunderland, so that's very exciting as well.
What's his brother's name?
Job and Jude did the moves.
He was really good last year, eh?
Yeah. So we're sort of touching a bit, but a little bit more. Real's midfielder now, it's just stupid.
Yeah, if they get a striker, that team's unstoppable. It's already unstoppable, but it'll be like the type of thing when you talk about City that they were just missing that striker.
There you go.
And then
I don't think it's a matter of if as well. I think it's a matter of when.
I
think it's a matter of Kane or Mbappe.
Yeah, who do they want?
Do you think definitely this year they'll get Kane or Mbappe?
Oh, I think so.
I think they could go without it for
What are they
like
going to play there? They're getting rid of
Valverde.
No, they won't do that. They won't play Valverde.
And something like Pep.
Or they'll go sign someone, but it might not be as
because they're getting rid of
Hazard
Hazard.
or something
they're getting
like
rid of
that.
Hazard and Mariano.
Someone United's looking at. Maybe a Hojjan, someone.
No, but that doesn't work though. We saw Jovic. It didn't work with Jovic.
It's not like Madrid to like do that as well.
Yeah,
I
want the big.
Madrid to get
just get the big
Kane.
sign.
And I think Mbappe is more likely because he's a bit younger and they're probably going to be similar price tags.
To be honest, apparently the Real Madrid offered Mbappe PSG 180 million for him. Back 18 months ago? Is it now?
But different story now. He wants out now.
The dynamic has changed so much.
They'd get him for 120.
Mbappe wants to leave. No, I think they do it for less almost because Mbappe wants to leave.
Nah, it's
and
still Mbappe, but
his contract expires in a year.
He could walk out for free.
Mbappe.
But do you understand the transfer dynamic though? Is that in the sense?
No, I understand that.
I know, but I'm saying is in PSG have openly said we are not losing him for free.
Yeah,
that puts all the pressure on them to
make a deal. Have to make a deal now or January.
Madrid will wait a year.
Yeah.
Like, if they have to wait a year, they'll wait a year.
They've got enough talent going around.
They'll sign someone for now.
Yeah.
Like
they'll sign Osimhen just for a season, get him out. They get him out there.
If Madrid have to wait a year, they'll wait a year. Like it's. I think for them, I think they'll still get 80 to 100 mil.
If they sign Osimhen though, which I don't think they will, I think they won't sign Mbappe. I think Osimhen.
I don't think they'll sign Osimhen.
They'll get a fill in, and I'll just get rid of it.
Osimhen's not a fill in. We're not talking about
that wasn't the
feelings.
point.
But I'm saying anyone in the market who's
they'll
getting
sign
a
very capable striker for the year.
Yeah. And then ship him off.
Who's happy enough to be Real Madrid's backup striker on 300 grand a week.
Yeah.
When Mbappe eventually comes. And look, I don't. The only reason I don't think they get Kane is because they're trying to they're building this really young
core. This is a very young core,
like Galacticos midfield. So I think Mbappe suits it a lot more.
They even got that Fran Garcia to play left back now.
Yeah,
it was like Camavinga's playing left back half the year, so it's good to get
Fran
to midfield now.
Back from loan, young. Yeah. They even, I think they're keeping Diaz from AC.
I see that Brian.
They're keeping him. So they got a lot of young talent. Well, Rudiger's not old either, is he?
I think Rudiger's like 27, 28.
Yeah, Militao's young, that's for sure.
Alaba's not that old. These guys are all sort of like still in their sort of prime of being a centre back.
And then right back,
it's gonna be
they got Carvajal and probably someone I'll look at. Maybe a right back. Is Fran Garcia a right back? Am I losing it?
I can't. I'm not sure.
He's a fullback. That's for sure.
I think what's going to happen. There's been a lot of pressure on Ancelotti this year to do something with this team. So last year was the fall off after the Champions League.
Yeah,
because
I thought Ancelotti was maybe leaving.
No, so it was confirmed. So
he's staying another year.
Perez confirmed he's got one more year. So they're backing one more year.
Yeah,
but the fact they lost it to Barca, who's I know they're coming good, but I don't think they're at their peak as of yet.
Oh, I think Barca have their off-field struggles though. It looks like they're going to lose a couple of players.
money again. Yeah. So I think Real Madrid has and I think Champions League could get dire again for European clubs because they're going to build a giant again.
Touch wood that Barca lose De Jong. Because hopefully
Man United fans or something.
Pretty sure De Jong once said that he wants to go to Arsenal at one point. I'm pretty sure that wasn't.
I wouldn't be surprised if you rocked up to.
I don't understand how De Jong end up at United. England. I thought that was guaranteed. Fabrizio let me down.
That was a joke.
Fabrizio let me down.
That was a joke.
I guess in other news, Kim, a guy whose release clause also out for grabs. Napoli centre back, good year last season. Bayern apparently now.
That's what Fabrizio's been saying, going back on him. It's always that Fabrizio.
It's interesting because you got like a few now big clubs into United, in from Bayern, in from I think Dawn might be also as well, like a long shot, but a few big clubs in from a really low release, like £45 million, £45 million release clause.
And he's not signing a new one to keep that release clause because he knows that no one will pay for him once he goes to about the 80, 90 mil region.
So interesting to see where he lands up this summer.
I think he suits Bayern. Like, obviously he's been linked to United, but as I said, like, does Kim come in guarantee start at United?
I don't get. For me, I don't get that signing for you guys at all.
Yeah, I don't get it. I understand. We have better signings we need.
I understand you want depth, but it's like you could sign.
We need a striker and a centre mid. Yeah. We need a striker and a centre mid. That's as United. They're guaranteed.
You need a striker.
A striker and a centre mid.
It should be on the whiteboard.
We've got no centre mid. We're going to play Fred and McTominay again.
Look,
and Eriksen's a bit dodgy still.
It's very dodgy in general because you've seen Casemiro, has a tendency to get a red card or something like that.
Yeah, well,
and when he's out, the drop off is.
I think we need a mid. I think a midfielder is important. I understand the Bayern signing because if you actually look at Bayern's centre backs, they're not very good. Upamecano is not a great centre back.
I'm about to say Upamecano looked good, I think, at times, but he got shown up a bit especially in the Champions League as well. I think De Ligt needs a partner. And
definitely. I think he suits Bayern. It's just such a more it's just a such more understandable signing for Bayern than it is for United, and that's why I think as well him looking at where he wants to spend his future. I don't know if he'd come to even if he gets promised first team football, is he going to start match week 1 this year? And I'd say no. He's going to have to. He's not going to start match week 1 if Varane and Martinez are fit.
It just depends on the person.
So therefore, I don't know him, he's got to do Ten Hag didn't start Casemiro until McTominay played a bad game. Yeah. So you think he's going to drop Varane and Martinez?
No, I'm not saying that.
So
it depends on the player though.
Whereas he goes to Bayern, he starts match week 1.
Yeah, I probably think so.
Yeah, 100%. He starts with
in a Tuchel system as well.
Yeah,
he likes to play those ball playing, like the Rudigers of the world, which is sort of a Kim sort of similar to. And I guess we might as well touch on it while we're finishing up here. I guess Messi, obviously.
Yeah.
That big news.
So is it? I haven't followed this too much. Is there any merit in him getting loaned straight to Barca? Because I've seen that.
Yeah, there is a merit in it. But again, Barca's gonna have to sell people. I don't think they have any. I'm not too sure on it, but the whole reason he didn't go to Barca was because he went and talked to what's the president's name again? Now I forgot.
What is his name? Laporta.
No, Perez. No, Perez is Real.
It's
Laporta. João Laporta. So he went and talked to him, and apparently he said something on the lines of, "We really want to sign you, but we can't guarantee it." And the problem with Messi was he didn't want to happen again. What happened last time? Yeah. They said if we sign you, it will be on the last day.
Yeah.
If you're Messi, do you really blame him? I know I'm saying it from the diehard Messi supporter.
What's he getting paid?
He's not getting paid that much at Miami. But the thing is, Miami. So he's getting a cut in the Apple TV rights.
He's also getting a cut
in the shirt sales.
He's getting guaranteed team or something, isn't he? Guaranteed.
He's doing that. You guys heard about the Beckham thing. So Beckham had a signing clause in his contract that after he finished, he can create a team for 25 mil. Do you know how much it costs to create a team in the MLS?
I don't know, 100?
No, 250.
Yeah, okay.
So your basic, that's the same with Messi. And that was 250 when Beckham did it. So imagine when Messi wants to do it. So he'll get one. Messi's, I've heard something along the lines, it's 35. So Messi only have to pay 35 and it'll probably be 350, 400. So you look at, when we're talking about the likes of Saudi Arabia for Messi to go to, okay, his base salary was going to be 400 mil and we understand that. But you look at the TV rights, it actually might end up being more money going to the MLS.
More important, you get Sun in Miami as well. That's half the point.
I think more important.
The livability in Miami is
you're in Miami compared to being in Saudi Arabia.
I think he was always going to go there though. He was always going to go there. He bought a house in Miami in 2020.
I don't know if he was always going to go there. Like, I'm sure Ronaldo owns a house in New York.
Yeah, I know, but
a penthouse.
Property in
I think my theory as well is it's an out there one, but I think he wants to take it a bit light because I reckon he wants to play the next World Cup.
That's why it's not the go, bro.
No, but it's interesting. But the MLS thing too, it's a franchise thing, right? So I'm sure each club pays him to come play up there.
No, they do.
I think the league.
The league pays everyone.
All the clubs come in and pay for his wages and stuff because they will get him at their ground.
Have you seen the ticket prices? Have you seen the ticket prices for the first game? Yeah, just for the first Miami game he's going to play. It's like $450 cheapest price. It's normally 18. It's normally 18.
They have the pink top.
Yeah.
Are you going to buy one? You're going to buy one.
Yeah, I'm absolutely copping it.
I want to buy an El Nassar one.
The best thing is because I'm soccer coaching at the moment, young kids 7 to 10, the amount of kids that are rocking around with the Ronaldo El Nassar.
You're joking?
No, I'm not joking.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
When I'm coaching, we do a holiday program.
That's nuts. I didn't say that.
When there's 40 kids, there's 4 or 5 I'm talking El Nassar, Ronaldo time.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
That's the impact they make. That's the impact these players make.
Surely just spend an extra $20 on a vintage Ronaldo one, any other team.
Yeah, but any team.
Spend $100 on an El Nassar.
Yeah, I know.
The most disgusting yellow blue thing I've ever seen.
It's even with me, when I was looking, I've got the Messi Argentina one and a Messi Barca one. But it was like at the point when I wanted my Messi Barca one, I was looking at PSG. I was like, I don't want a Messi PSG one. I want a Messi Barca one.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Messi
It's
Argentina,
Ronaldo.
Messi Barca. You want a Ronaldo United or Ronaldo Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like you don't like even Sporting. Do you really want a Ronaldo Sporting?
Oh, I think there's
maybe because it was his boyhood.
I would love a Ronaldo Sporting.
I
would love a Ronaldo Sporting side.
That was more of a. Like that's more of a different thing, but in itself, like, are you really gonna walk around the middle of Perth with an Al Nassr like?
Yeah,
I
agree. I agree. Like,
I understand it from the point of view from young kids, though. Young kids, it's like their idol. They get the new top.
Yeah,
like,
and the parents as well. The parents are easy to buy. So,
it's easy.
That
was a shock. That was a shock to me. I know you guys disagree with me with this one, but the old clan getting back together in Miami.
What, Busquets and Alba?
Busquets, Alba, and who else is it? It's one other. Di Maria. Di Maria wasn't part of the old clan, but part of Messi's clan.
Di Maria is free.
Di Maria is leaving.
I
think he's leaving. Guaranteed leaving.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know where he's going, but he's been linked again to Saudi Arabia and America. They've all been linked to Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia is where the money is. America's where that's more
I think
livable.
the thing about the Saudis, okay, obviously we've seen how much the MLS have to give up to get Messi.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do that for every player.
Every player, yeah.
Okay. And they also they don't have the money to pay a high enough salary to probably incentivize people coming.
Yeah.
Like compared to what the Saudis can do, offer these guys 80 mil each or something.
And because it's a franchise thing, I can't see them all funding someone that will join one team.
Yeah,
it won't happen.
Yeah. Like
you just get blocked. Like in the NBA, when they try and make too many seats, the NBA just blocks it, right? Because franchise stuff, you can't just make it too unwatchable.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but the difference. Okay, but you're comparing a different sport. The difference in the NBA NBA is already at this level.
No, but what I'm talking about is franchise. That's what franchise is. And this is a franchise league.
I understand it's franchise, but again,
it's a different world to European football.
If they're going to come to the league, if they go to that team or not, you'd send them to that team because it's bringing more on TV rights.
I don't think it's that as easy as you think it can be like that. Yeah,
I think
it's a franchise.
Had the cash.
Yeah, they would just give them the cash.
It's just so much easier to just offer them. Oh, here's 60 mil. This, Whereas the MLS has to push so many, push.
Yeah.
So many things out of the way,
and the doors have to
change
open.
This, change that to make it work for a couple of guys.
Yeah. And
they've already got one. The benefit of the other two would be so minuscule compared to already having Messi. So
it's just going to come down to the fact of livability, whether those players are valuing money over the lifestyle. Because
if you got a young
I don't know, I wouldn't want to be living in Saudi Arabia. That's for sure.
I don't know, bro. You haven't been.
Yeah. Could be hard. It'd be crazy out there. We might as well touch to finish up, I guess, over there. Saudi. Obviously, Benzema and Kante both joining Al Ittihad now as well.
Are they going to run for the Club World Cup?
Sounds like it. Yeah, they could.
They're the team in the Club World Cup.
They said City will see you there.
They win the.
Yeah, they won the.
Asian
they were already a good Asian team, and the Asian teams have actually got to a good level. So if they were already good before Benzema and Kante,
do they always win the the cup?
Champions?
Do they always win the
Saudi Arabian Cup? I don't know.
They're one of the top teams over there. They won it this year. They won it again this year. Yeah, but I think there's another team out there as well that does really well. But I guess with more of these guys, like you said, like at the Albas or Busquets, it'll be interesting to see how it also lines up because there's other teams now trying to get because there's 4 teams funded by the government or something. So that's what Al Nassr is. That's what Al Ittihad is. So they're all sort of funded under this governing body. So do the other 2 teams in this governing body get them, or other teams
stack one?
Yeah, I don't know if Busquets and Alba, though, at the end of their career, have the pool that the Kante Benzema
Yeah, but
does.
is this because it's the media? It's these guys they're so passion driven.
Yeah.
You're telling me these guys are going to get offered Alba and Busquets?
No, I'm saying they're worse. I'm saying worse, not better.
I think you're saying the pool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying they don't have the pool. That Benzema, the pool that
to watch viewership.
Yeah,
Okay, so I mean that's
So you're saying they're a worse investment for the league?
Yeah, for the league. As you were saying about Miami, would they bring him in? I know Messi's already there, so people are already going to watch. But I don't think they're.
But who really else is there?
Alba's a left back number 1, so no one ever is going to invest that much.
But who is there as a player? What are some bigger names that actually?
No, you're
achievable?
Right. Yeah. You're right, but
otherwise,
so Kante and Benzema are on 100 mil. What do you give Alba and Busquets? 100 as well?
Nah, you give them 70,
60 to 80. Yeah, but still, they're going to be grossly overpaid.
Oh,
obviously.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. These guys won't be making the league any money in the short term.
No.
They're investing, hoping that the league will be like,
I'm going to tell you the problem with that. I'll tell you what the problem with that is, and I've seen it.
I think it's a massive risk.
I think no. I don't see in any world how that works out, and I'm going to explain to you how it doesn't work out. Because
I agree.
There's no world, no matter how many of those players they bring in, it works. Doesn't matter. They could bring in 100.
They have no homegrown talent.
No, yeah, that's the problem. If you don't have homegrown talent, your worst is always going to still be down here. And Saudi Arabia's homegrown talent is poor. I'd borderline it. It's worse than Australia's homegrown talent.
They did beat Argentina.
I don't know. You know what? Who won the World Cup, okay?
I was going to say something, but
who won the World Cup? Do you know what? You laughed at the end.
They beat the
World Cup winners.
Okay, I know, but would you say that on a real note?
On
a real note, is Australia's homegrown talent better than Saudi Arabia?
No. But who won the Asian Cup? Saudi Arabia.
Like honestly, Tots, I could not tell you. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they're up and coming talent.
Again, they probably already had
but my point is that, like, it's like the Japanese guys who went to Celtic. It's like every other league besides the top 5 leagues, like
talent leaves.
No one has any idea how good they are because they get no media coverage. Yeah. Like you can't name anyone who's Saudi Arabian from the Saudi league because like
I can't name a Saudi Arabian in its entirety, let alone from the Saudi league.
This is my point because I mean, look, don't get me wrong, they're not at the same level that is competitive, and I actually agree with you. But my point is like I'm not going to completely write off the league because I actually have no idea how good or bad the homegrown talent is. I agree with you in terms of the approach of buying players, like trying to buy the league. Is not a long-term sustainable.
For it to work, they've got to buy basically the whole league.
No, but they're not going to do that.
No, I know, but that's never going. That's why it won't work.
They're smarter than that.
I agree with you, but my point is that I do probably think look, I have no idea what the grassroots sort of method is, and I'm sure it's not amazing or whatever, but in the sense that they're not stupid enough to think, okay, we can just buy ourselves to the league.
Yeah,
like they understand they're gonna need some grassroots talent to come through, and they're going to need to westernize a little bit and try and morph into become like interrelations with UEFA and the big leagues if they want to be regarded in that same light. And I think that's their goal.
Yeah, no, but I think it is because they've got it. Like they're not idiots, and you saw what the Chinese Super League did. They bought Oscar, they bought Hulk, they bought Talisca, all these Brazilians across didn't work, bust, failed. To a lesser extent, like the A-League had a period of time, Del Piero, all these guys buying these older. No. But I'm saying that. I'm saying
2 or 3 mil for Del Piero.
No, yeah, but you saw it hasn't worked. These guys aren't idiots. Yeah, these guys aren't idiots. So they
Signing
know
of the century, we call that one.
That was hilarious.
They know better than that. So
I think
you buy these big names, you get eyes. You get funding, you get your wafer involved, and then you grow the league.
They get shirt sales, even if it all goes pear shaped, that their losses are minimized because these guys still come with a big name. They come to reasonably rich countries who have a lot of people who can afford to buy their whole family a shirt because the way it works over there is that because there's only one star player in each team, everyone buys that shirt. Yeah. So in terms of an investment, look, the longevity.
It's hard to tell. I'm not super confident. It's hard to tell. Yeah,
But at least, I think they're hedging their risk because they're buying such big names.
Yeah.
Who, if they wanted to try and actually build a really good league, surely they'd go out and buy a bunch of young talent. That's not what they're doing. They're trying to hedge their risks by buying the old, I
like the way it's got, they're trying. I appreciate the way it's going. And I think, the fact that we're talking about it now in Australia as, guys watch the Premier League, they're creating attention to the league.
Look, 100%. You're 100% right on that.
Maybe they might go down the path of, I don't know if you've seen, but since the governing body there is the ones actually that are invested in it, putting in the money. Maybe they might go in the down the China route. Have you seen what they've done? Maybe make it mandatory for all the kids there to play soccer. I'm trying to make it their number one sport to grow the homegrown talent. I think that could be a way to work it because it might not work now, but it might. But in 40 years' time, players will come good if you do that.
I know, but I'm talking about the other way, and we're talking about the way westernised to making it free, not just forcing them to play.
I think
but it's just through school. That's your only school.
That's how you work.
You got to think about what the long-term goal of the league is. It's the Chinese league. I think the long-term goal was to make it big in China. China has a population of 1 point something billion, right? Saudi Arabia would be in the millions. You know what I mean? The point isn't to appeal to their local market.
Oh no, I know that, but you still got to make your young
It's
talent.
to appeal to the European global market, and as a result, they need to be able to work with those leagues.
Yeah, and
which
get
means
the eyes out there.
Yeah, they need to westernize.
Yeah,
they need to try and draw the sponsors from over there. They need to try.
Yes,
and look. There's a lot of issues with this in terms of the sports washing, the treatment of human life within these countries. That creates a lot of controversy, which I don't really think I'm fit to talk about because I don't know too much about it. Yep. But the point is that they're trying to. I'm almost certain they'll be trying to incorporate with Western culture, very similar to Live Golf, who have just. Well, I'm sure the Saudis just succeeded heavily with by merging with the PGA,
endorsing from the a global viewpoint, not being so isolated, getting the eyes on it. Yeah.
Because my point isn't that though. My point is obviously they want to get the branding and be that westernized, but you've got to also do something for your talent. What do you do there?
But that's not the focus right now. It's clearly not the focus.
But it will be the focus for the league to become good in the long run.
Yeah, but you say that, but they've got enough money to bring players in. So while they've got this time to do it as much as you can. Get the eyes in.
But that's short term. I'm talking about long term.
I think I think you're both 100% right. I think it's a mixture of both.
You have to this guy long term.
But I think to try and spur the homegrown capacity, you have to bring in the big names.
Yeah, because they'll probably get the young kids.
Who want to motivate the young kids.
Yeah, you're right.
And look, as we said, we have no idea how the grassroots works.
Nah,
we have no clue. But they have their own national team, who obviously perform somewhat well. They must have some level of homegrown development within the country in terms of
it's the best soccer. Asian team,
they are
best
trying,
Asian league.
The Saudis are trying to westernize. There's no that's not hidden. There's no lie about that. Yep. They are trying to move into a more sustainable long term of investment because obviously they've got a lot of their money from oil. Yeah, that's a short. No lie. That is how the Saudis have become a prominent force within the global market, right? The global economy. So. But that's not going to last forever. I guess they're trying to westernize and expand into many different markets so that they can maintain a big player in a global economy. Because that is overall what the end goal is. I don't think the Saudi government and the Saudi banks, whatever they are, actually care about soccer that much.
Oh, no.
I think it's more
soccer their number one sport? They're what is it?
No, it probably is.
I reckon it probably is.
I think their population is so small that they don't actually care about. It's more about, okay, we're a small population, except we're performing really well in a global market. Yes. How can we sustain this?
How can we keep this
Live
going?
Golf is a prime example. Yeah. They've done it insane. I'm sure they've done insanely well behind closed doors there with the deal. And then I think, they're looking at all the sports. They're looking at soccer. They'll be looking at everything. Yeah. How can we capitalize on this massive Western culture and get our foot in the door?
And right now the eyes are all over Saudi Arabia, but everyone seems to be all around Saudi Arabia and things are happening around Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I think if it was anyone else besides Messi or Ronaldo, the transfer would have gone through and it would have dropped off. But because it's the biggest names in sports, they've been able to manage to maintain the attraction
100%
and bring other players over. I think it's about as good a start as they could have had.
Yeah, I reckon, 100%. Okay. And they've picked their targets.
But where it goes in the long term, that is to be seen. Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
You have to create a stable base now through doing the short term, maybe not financially smart stuff to build a future. We'll quickly touch on the Premier stuff. Fixtures coming out for the first week. What's the fixture that stands out for you?
We got Forest at home on the Friday morning.
Well, United got Wolves on Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night. Yeah.
Monday night.
Yeah. So we'd both be pretty confident with those fixtures.
Yeah, I think Wolves. It depends if Lopetegui stays. I don't know if he's going to stay anymore. I guess the most exciting, not most exciting, but the one that'd be interested is to see how Company goes against.
I think there'll
be a lot to unplay coming through. I mean, it'd be really exciting for us if we have our new transfers playing in that game. But as we said before the show started, how we're playing in
week 4.
So that'll be a big game. I think we're at home.
At home, yeah.
Yep.
But
that'll be an early test for both teams.
A lot to unfold.
Yeah. A lot to come.
Match week 1, Chelsea versus Liverpool.
That's a big game.
Yeah. Big game.
Where's that? At the Bridge?
Yeah, at the Bridge.
So, look, I mean...
See how Poch goes.
Yeah, see how Poch goes.
I think Chelsea and I think both those teams...
They're top 4
teams.
It's
a great matchup, to be honest.
Do you see Liverpool coming back? Because I see...
I see... Look, I see both those teams being better than they were. Put it like that.
And then... another 2 big games I'd say is Brentford versus Spurs, Ange's first game. game, obviously, and away at Brentford. We've seen what Brentford have done against the big skulls.
They won't have Ivan Toney, so we'll see what Brentford do. Are they just going to go 6 months there and hopefully?
Do they just move Sade, the young German, to the middle, play him up front? He's got a lot of potential. He's interested.
And then the other one will probably be Newcastle Villa. So seeing if Aston Villa will
at Newcastle, at St James,
seeing what they do. Both teams.
There is a lot to. Look, all these fixtures. Yeah, you're right.
It means nothing now, really.
No, but they all have their own merits. And look, there's a lot to unfold with the Prem in the coming months.
Yeah, with transfers and
transfers can obviously change the dynamic for a club a lot.
100%. We'll have that. Anyway, that about wraps us up. Thanks, guys, coming on.
Thank you.
Good debate in this one. Yeah,
Pleasure.
100%. Yeah, see you guys soon, guys.